Panel is now open.
The wait is over. The gates are open. All who seek the panel, enter now. It's time to duel.
And once again, OG and Martae, I would ask you to drop the files that you have on the stage down there, the video and the image, please, so I don't drop you by mistake, okay? So, thank you very much, Mr. Tez Exclusives. Shout out to CEO and shout out to Evan.
Can you hear me, bro?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Let me give Tez Exclusive the first crack on it, then CEO, and then Evan to go. Tez, who do you want to challenge, and what do you want?
Martae.
Which? Okay, you want to challenge Martae?
He made he said a couple things I like to challenge.
So I'll give you 8 minutes in principle, and then we see how it goes. Okay, probably a little bit more, but let's go ahead and let's go with you. What do you want to challenge him on?
Okay, first, it would be the statement that we're talking about an overcorrection of victim mentality. I'd like to talk about how he was using the example of George Floyd.
I never said victim mentality. It's an overcorrection of victim mentality. So when I said an overcorrection, I never once said the words victim, an overcorrection of victim mentality, if you were listening to the debate.
Yeah, I was listening. If I worded it wrong, so be it. But I know exactly.
Hold on, you just contradicted yourself. I was listening, but if I worded it wrong,
if I worded it wrong, that's
fine. Listening, you wouldn't have worded it wrong. Go ahead,
yeah,
though.
I don't want to do that with you. I just want to challenge you on what you was actually saying, bro. So we could just deal with that first. So when you were using the example of George Floyd and making a claim that black people destroyed American cities, can you name these cities that were destroyed? Because I would one up you with the history of destroying cities and ghettos and communities where black people have lived in this country throughout history. And so if we're talking about that being a reason why we would owe white people reparations, there's so much history of that happening to the black community. I don't know how you could start with 2020. You start with a modern day example of a historically bad situation. Would you agree?
So I gave one example, which, so here's the thing though, I'm not ever going to create a false binary. You know what that is, right? The problem with this is you also started off with a fallacious statement by saying something to the effect of like, what you just said. I mean, I'm almost having a brain fart from this because you led with the contradiction and then you're saying, well, it's an overcorrection. Yes, I can talk about this. So when cities are burning down, you've made this fallacious statement. I'll go back to this. You said cities are getting destroyed. I didn't say whole cities are being destroyed. There's never been a whole city that's being destroyed. I'm referring to the destruction and the level of destruction by metrics of like property destruction, burning buildings, cars, police and resources being used. I left a lot of context out because I wanted to just get to the debate. Because OG never gave me an argument, I couldn't really dive into the contextual nature of what I meant by cities being destroyed. So when you make an absolute claim of cities being destroyed, I'm not referring to whole cities. I'm referring to damaged property value. I also made claims of saying that when we offer DEI programs and programs to black communities, when whites have died 600,000 in numbers to basically release slaves from civil war, I mean, you can't put a price tag on bloodshed and numbers and things like this. I think that whites have more than, level the playing field with this when handouts have given to blacks. You're talking about blacks killing babies through Planned Parenthood, through handouts. A lot of this through government assistance. This is basically like a black H cost. I don't want to say the word, but with black women doing this to babies, it's like the reverse is happening. It's crazy. Can you address any of this?
Okay, so I can address what I came to address, and then you can add whatever you want to add to it. So you claim that they were costing everyone money when they were destroying these cities. So I want to understand what makes it worse when white cities and white communities are destroyed. Because again, I can one up you with every claim of a city that you point to and claim that black people destroyed any section of any city. Because what happened in our history in this country was our communities were targeted by white people in multiple communities. I can one up you with probably 2 or 3 for every example you can give. Being that that's the problem, you're pointing to certain individual examples that I can't point to January 6th and say, see how white people act? If you're pointing to reparations being for white people, I'm not hearing an argument from you that points to why, which is why I'm asking.
So here's the problem. Do you know what the tally for damages in January 6th was? Not even a fraction of the 2 billion that we talked about. Not to mention this, but it's like you're a fallacy factory. I don't know what it is, but you and OG seem to mirror each other's arguments.
You're not gonna keep ad-homing me though, bro.
Oh, here's the thing.
Chill out with the ad-homs though.
You're stating one up you, just asserting that
chill out with the ad-homs. I don't play like that, man.
While not naming incidences, while not naming cities or anything, I can also do the same thing and say, well, things have happened in history while not naming things in history. You've done this. This is a very fallacious argument that you're running. You're saying, well, I can one up you while not showing how you're one upping me. Literally, this is all you're giving me is word salad and just a diatribe of nonsense. I'm not still hearing one argument from you. Just because you can assert something and saying I can assert this while the assertion's empty doesn't tell me anything.
Okay, so
yeah, the crickets on your side are extremely loud right now.
Yeah, I'm just not talking to you, fam. So the argument you were making contextually was that these cities were destroyed, so black people owe reparations for those destroyed cities. The only thing I'm asking you is, historically, since there are more examples of black cities being destroyed by white people based on their race, not just some example that you're using, but the actual example of Wilmington, North Carolina, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Those examples exist. I'm only asking you, why would they be owed reparations juxtaposed to black people being owed reparations for the examples I've given you?
Are those people alive today that suffer from Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Their families are.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Okay. Are the people alive during George Floyd protests that got burned down? The Chicago riots and everything else? Oh, shit. Yes. These people are affected in real time by what happened. Meanwhile, you're doing the same thing that OG's saying that, oh, these people weren't alive when this happened, but a payout needs to happen. From who? From people who weren't affected by this or could stop this or prevent this during the time. Meanwhile, my examples are relevant. Yours are like, oh, because it happened 2 generations ago. That's not even a good, compelling argument against what I'm offering.
You started off the debate with, right. You started off the debate with the example of the Japanese receiving reparations, did you not?
Yeah, I can do this. And then I moved on to modern present day when he had nothing for that. Right. Yes.
So do you realize that the Japanese received reparations for their descendants?
Yes. I agree with that. We were able to do this, but that proves my claim why other races should get reparations. Thank you very much.
Well, they already got them, so we're not talking about who should get what. That's a moment in history that's a moment in history that's already happened. But let's move on to something else. So are you aware that
the past? It proves my whole claim. Other races can get reparations. Oh, but whites can't get reparations?
No, so again,
give me just 1 second, Tess. And I'm sorry to the other guest. I'm going to give Tess other more minutes because he's actually giving fair pushback. Okay, so I apologize. And now we only have 4 people willing to go. So we have Tess 1, Evan, and CEO. So 1 more person is going to be able to do one-on-one. After that, open panel. Okay. Go ahead, Tess.
Okay, so my other question to Martae would be, are you aware that reparations are already being paid, not just simply for slavery, but for things that happened during Jim Crow? For example, Evanston, Illinois, Spring, California, different places are already paying reparations and task force together to pay them. How do you view those things?
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I can actually concede this. But what I'm talking about is like, do you think that makes up for the damage citywide of 2 billion from what's happened then? Is this even a fair 1-to-1 ratio that we're talking about? No, it's not. It's not even a good fair point. Like, you're not even causing a dent in my argument if I was to even concede this.
Is your argument that the damage was done based on race? Because the argument that I'm giving you is based on these things happening specifically to black people because of their race. The argument you're making includes white people doing it to other white people. Do you realize that?
Right now, I don't know if it's your.
Can you hear me?
It's like half your conversation. Fatty, you hear this, right? He's roboting a little bit.
No, he was robotic on the beginning, but then he went okay. Just repeat the beginning, please, Tess. You good?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to help you out here. That's why I'm saying that. So,
okay, yeah, no problem. So I'm only asking because again, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of your argument. If states are already paying reparations, what is your claim in regard to them not like they shouldn't pay it if they're already doing it? Because I thought you were saying it shouldn't happen. I thought you was comparing this to what happened in Minnesota, which again, I'm not even downplaying it, but wasn't based on anybody's race. White people were involved in that. White people went to jail for that. And even outside of Minnesota, when you saw those riots, you saw white people involved, different races of people. Targeting the black community is what I'm talking about. Are you claiming the black community targeted white community?
No, that's not my claim at all. I've never once made that claim. All I'm saying is that when you look at the riots, what I mentioned it by title. When I mentioned it by title, BLM is an acronym. I mean, not even an acronym. It's just 3 letters. What does that mean? Right. And we look at this movement and we look at the destruction during this time after the George Floyd incident that happened. Was this not motivated by a certain race? It's in the name, black. It doesn't say white lives, but Mexican, Asian, anything else. It says Black Lives Matter. The head of the movement, you can say, was black orchestrated. Unless you're going to tell me some tinfoil hat conspiracy saying that whites instigated this and also were a part of this, that it doesn't really make any sense. Yes, well, very motivated about black culture.
A police officer put his knee on a man's neck and watched him die. I would argue that
Did you read the autopsy report? Did you read the report on why the death happened? It wasn't because of it. Fentanyl was fentanyl was the reason why.
We saw the video and we saw how the arrest conducted.
Oh, so I saw the autopsy report, which refutes the video.
If you agree with that type of policing, so be it. But what I'm trying to make
you mean facts data from a coronary service that has nothing to do with law enforcement and anything else? That once again they can be sued out the wazoo if they basically take documentation and write fallacious reports on this. They can literally be sued by this. They have nothing to gain by this. If you literally document that support that can go to court and write unsubstantiated information and go to court, you know they can be sued for this, right? Are you saying that they're the morgue is falsifying their claims? People are willing to.
I'm saying you're making your own claim. I never talked about her even for the death. I told you he put his knee on his neck and we saw that. Policing procedure wise, it was a bad look. You brought up the cause of death.
All your perception preference.
Hey fam, you're not gonna keep cutting me off, bitch ass nigga. Like for real, you want to get it?
Ad homs. That's all you got is ad homs. No argument. Ad homs.
I passed the mic. Go ahead, bud.
Yo, chill out. Let's have one mic, please.
Let's let Tess finish and then Martae because he has like a little bit of a delay on the connection. When you overtalk him, it happens what happened when OG overtalks you. Your mic goes over him. So let him finish and then you go, Martae. Go ahead, Tess.
Yeah, I just don't understand again what we're doing here. It seems like he's just making these strong arguments that don't actually relate to the questions I'm asking. I'm only asking because he laid that argument out that because they did what they did in Minnesota after George Floyd, now white people are owed reparations because of that behavior. I'm only juxtaposing that to the history of white folks acting like that. But again, I pass and I concede because he would rather call names and whatnot. That ain't what I came for, fam.
Not once. So here's the thing. I want the audience and comment section to realize that I never used that towards him. He called me a bitch ass nigga. And I'm like, okay, he's using names towards me. Not once have I attacked him personally. I've attacked his argument. Also, so here's the thing though, is he saying that do you even know what a straw man is? When you brought up George Floyd in the knee on the neck, I went straight towards the results of this, which this is analogous. How is that a straw man? And then when you went to the cities and intermixing with whites causing damage, I actually can concede that point for you, but it's still to my point in the debate. That doesn't make any sense. You're using debate terms that are nonsensical. Strawmans, which I never made up, and saying that I'm using ad hominem attacks, which I'm not doing. I actually helped you out and said, you know what? You're breaking up and roboting. I was quite generous and charitable in my response, but yet you said I'm calling you names. I don't know. Not one argument from your side. Can you put the next person up?
You had already done it, brother. We can get the next person in. I don't want to monopolize, bro. Go ahead.
Right, can I say something to the next person come in?
Yes, absolutely.
This is why I didn't go into this roundabout argument, because I know people like Taz was going to come up. Taz is a very much researcher and historian. I wanted to keep it simple, and he did the same thing to Taz that he tried to do with me. I told him the same exact thing. There was more than black people out there. Taz, there's only been twice since bombs been dropped on a community, and it's been done by white people towards black people. Taz did said Wall Street, but there was another occasion in Philadelphia when the move, they dropped bombs on that. It's only been 2 occasions in the history of the United States. Now let's get back to another point that Fatty did. He keep trying to avoid. And the thing about it is, when he was talking about the autopsy report, let's just look at that and let's make it simple. This is why I always know making things simple makes sense. If I was to go out here and drink 2 drinks of alcohol and they find it in my blood, but you sit there and choke me to death, and then you gonna come back and say, well, it was because of the alcohol. No, dickhead, it was because you choked me. No,
So
pause. I see Fantastic Game. I had to say pause because I know you're gonna start with some shit.
that's fine. Thank you very much, Mr. Fantastic and Philly, to pull up. I appreciate y'all. Let's get CEO. CEO, who do you want your 8 minutes to go to?
Martae.
I already knew this.
Okay.
I hope
Yeah,
So we're going to do this.
We're gonna have a civil conversation, bro.
Yeah, we're going to do
I appreciate it because I'm not going to personally attack you. We can have a conversation.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, before we even start, OG was saying that the other person's well learned and educated. Meanwhile, he spouted fallacies and couldn't even be consistent with his claim, and I pointed that out. But
Hey,
see,
you want this on the clock with me? You want to have that same debate with me on the clock, bitch?
yeah,
Because it won't go like this.
ad
I
homs
got
again,
sources.
argument.
I don't debate like this.
No,
I don't debate like this. I use sources. I use data. I
yeah,
put
so
irrefutable.
bitch ass niggas, crazy, bro.
I want to go last again, Daddy. Go last.
I will say this, okay? If anybody feels comfortable about being personally insulted, let me know, and I'll make sure that nobody does that. So
I don't care. I don't take anything personal. You know, CEO said he's going to have a genuine conversation with me, and we can have a back and forth. I implore this discourse with him. Let's have it.
I'm just saying that is the option. What's up, Reese? How are you doing? So this is what we're going to do, okay? CEO, Evan, and Fantastic are going to have a one-on-one, and Reese will kick off the open panel. Okay? So Evan, Mr. Fantastic, and Reese and CEO are going to have the chance to 8-minute one-on-one, and then Reese opens up the super panel. And we go from there. Not the super panel. God damn it, I'm tired. Go ahead, CEO. You have 8 minutes. And then we go from there. He says he has something to say to Martae. So let's see.
It's time to do.
I want to know why you feel black people don't deserve reparations.
So oh man, my computer is acting up. Hold on real quick. I don't know what the hell this is.
Take your time. We can see you
I
and
don't
can hear you.
feel,
Okay,
to be honest, if you
Martae?
really want to go to the heart of my argument, what's that?
I'm saying that you are
Can you
slowing
see
down a
me?
little bit, but we can hear you and see you. Just have a little bit of delay.
Friday, why don't you just tell him to get closer to his neighbor's Wi-Fi? He could probably broadcast that way.
That's crazy. Hey, Martae, when I say pineapple, say when I
Okay,
say
can you
five,
hear me now?
yeah. When I say five, say pineapple. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Pineapple.
Yeah, you have like a
10
3-second delay.
seconds.
Just
Nah,
refresh.
that's still
Just
like 10
refresh it, please.
seconds, bro.
Yeah, just refresh it. Refresh the browser, and I think it'll be okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, now we started working immediately. And once again, friends, thank you very much for being here. There's 392 people watching the show in all platforms. Please support the content creators, like the video. All the links for the people that are jumping on the panel are going to be on the description. I think I have everyone link. Evan is anonymous. So, CEO, the same thing with you. Let me know on the back what
So
platform you want to promote. So, Martae, reparations. Why shouldn't people? Why shouldn't black people get reparations?
It's time to duel!
if I'm going to get down to the heart of the argument, so we have arguments that we support. And the grounding of this is like our internal belief system that we have. So for my internal belief system, I don't believe anybody deserves reparations. I think that we should start from scratch, just like the race argument that we had. I don't think nobody can't be racist. So there's neutrality in that, and I can actually be consistent in my rhetoric for this. So there's an argument that's perpetuating society saying blacks should get reparations, when actually I don't think blacks should get reparations. And when I say blacks shouldn't get reparations, I mean nobody should get reparations. I'm talking about, so if you look at the status quo of America right now, everybody's suffering. Would you agree with me that there's more of a classist issue that we have in society more than a racist issue right now? And I think if we're talking about classism, there's more of an argument for people should getting reparations for being disenfranchised due to class than race. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's I think there's more of a class issue than race issue, but when it comes to 400, 500 years of our ancestors being slaves, the white people that took over the country had a head start, and we always had these barriers to entry. Like OG was talking about, they redlined us. They put us in the eastern parts of the factory, so we have more asthma. Those government fundings that you said we received, you know, that money was stolen. You know what I mean? We're not really getting those grants and everything like you're saying. So I think reparations for the descendants of slaves is necessary. It can be on an even till.
So here's my I'll ask a question. When we have Planned Parenthood for black women who are leading the nation at 14% is the smallest community, but leading in ABs that they're having, deleting babies, are they getting, is this money being handed to them for these services for free?
Nah, and I don't even agree with the.
Wait, hold on. So no, that's not happening?
Nah. They come out of pocket some
That's
form of
crazy.
fashion. In Atlanta,
where does this money come from?
They come out $550 for their pills that they take for the abortion pills. Back in the day,
know. I'm talking about for this procedure to happen.
Say that again.
For the procedure to happen, if they're going in to get a procedure, an AB procedure, I'm not talking about the pills. I'm talking about Planned Parenthood. I'm walking in. I'm a single black mom. I just want to delete baby number 5, and I'm a first name basis because I go so much. 14% is monopolizing this whole field trajectory of an H cost that's happening with black families in epidemic. Where is this money coming from to pay for these ABs?
People are coming out of pocket to pay for their abortions, bro. Like,
so that's not happening. They're not getting assistance.
If you have health care, you still pay a little bit of the service fee. So that they call it health care for a reason. They get health care for that. You know what I mean? And then they still have to pay a $300 to $550 what they call it, copay or whatever for the procedure to even happen or go down. So it's not completely free. You feel what I'm saying? And then I don't even agree with abortion. So I don't even want to talk about that. I'm talking about reparations, like the 40 acres and a mule that we never got. You feel what I'm saying?
You just conceded the point by saying it doesn't completely happen as far as this. So it does happen. You're not even denying this. So matter of fact, you partially are conceding this. When Black women are A-ing their babies in mass, but not completely. To me, I'm just like, that's not even a compelling argument to sway me as far as you're literally halfway on my side. While I can agree with you that insurance deductibles can pay for certain things, do you think that that's mostly happening in America right now?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
That's false. The stats debunk all this. That's mostly not what's happening right now. They can do services for free all the time with STD testing. Do you think it follows suit with the logical entailment that ABs happen and are paid for by tax dollars in the system?
Okay, yeah, the healthcare is paid for by tax dollars, but I'm saying reparations to set people up with their own businesses and stuff.
So we're gonna move back to reparations because you failed.
That's what I challenged you on. You feel me? I want to know why you don't believe Black people or anybody deserve it. My great grandmother was a slave. You feel me? So I feel like her descendants, her kids and stuff should have got something because she actually worked on the cotton fields and whatnot. She actually raised those people kids. You know what I'm saying? And when they were free, you know what I'm saying? They got nothing. They had the shack. You feel me? And then we wasn't even allowed the opportunity to work or get fair pay. You feel me? They paid us mostly in plantation dollars, which we could only spend at their stores. So we couldn't even really work to even earn a honest living, which is why the Great Migration happened from places like the Mississippi all the way up to Chicago, where they felt like they had a better foot in the game. You feel what I'm saying?
So once again, you're falling into this claim that OG kept making, and I'll give you a hypothetical. Let's say that my great grandmother punches a white person in their mouth, and every single generation after that punched a white person in their mouth, dislocating their jaw and had to get wires shut. Meanwhile, there's a gap in generations where we stop believing in this. Do I, who wasn't involved in punching white people in their mouth and getting their jaw wired shut, should I have to pay a white person reparations for what something happened when I wasn't involved in?
You got to come with a better hypothetical.
No, can you answer the hypothetical? It doesn't matter. Can you answer the hypothetical?
No. The way you frame that.
No, okay, thank you.
The way so you're saying
it's not a good hypothetical, but you're conceding to it. Yeah, big brain stuff here. It's good.
Yo. You have a condescending tone, but I'm not going to allow you to
you're asserting that it's condescending. You know, I'm not being condescending.
Look. You're comparing someone getting punched in the jaw throughout generations to people who was
it's hypothetical. We can bring up fictitious things that happen. Is hypothetical.
You feel me? Cut, dismembered. You feel me? Somebody getting punched in the face. If your father was a punk and his son was a punk, you know what I'm saying?
But do you understand that when I tested your logic, my logic was consistent, and you even conceded this, and then you're just saying because I feel that my preference is different on this. All you're doing is just saying because I prefer that this is worse. It doesn't mean so logically it's consistent that I shouldn't have to pay out for pain. All you're doing is making a metric of
not a preference that it was worse,
and that's why they should pay out.
Slavery was worse than than your example. Slavery was
right.
Worse.
So here's the thing, though. Logically, you're not consistent on this because you're asserting to say that, because slavery wasn't the same, one person's pain is measured less than this. Well, that's not even consistent. When I tell you that generational something that's causing pain to another race, I can't pay for this, but then something else that's causing pain to another race of somebody who was not involved in this has to pay out. And then you say, no, well, you're having a performative contradiction right now. This makes no sense.
CEO, I give you more 2 minutes so you can wrap it up.
I got nothing else to say.
Go ahead and then Evan, please. I got Reese.
Caught another
can I get him to just stop calling me OJ?
OG. You have to let him finish now. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. But just call me OJ.
Oh, OJ Simpson. So what I'm talking about is I caught you in another fallacy when you were talking to Fatty. And here's the thing, though. Fatty didn't catch this, just like I didn't catch the thing with Fatty. was when you said you could pick out the definition that you want, but then you want him to adhere to your 3 tenets of a definition. Like, you're a performative contradiction. You've been doing this all night. You know what? You can have whatever different. So you're displaying racial tenets right now, saying blacks can do one thing, but then when there's somebody that's only a quarter of something else that's not black in them, oh, I can't do this, but then Fatty can do this because he's not a tether. Like, how is this not mirroring the things that you say they aren't? So you're saying that blacks can do certain things and whites can't. This is crazy right now. You're literally contradicting yourself. Just like, but you know what I'll say? I'll hand it off to you. You're at least consistent about that, if not anything else.
You consist of being a bag of wind. That's all you do is just keep talk.
Not
wait. You're very educated in using words, but they don't represent shit. Again, I go back to the point. Can you pull out a currency out of your pocket right now with a black man picture on it?
That's not analogous.
I ain't asked you that, what it was. I asked you, can you do it?
Yes, I can go to Africa.
Please don't help him, Fatty. I'm going to
see. OG, you are setting a precedent. Because if Tez exclusive become the president in 20 years and he decides to replace George Washington with Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, you are defeating your own point. Didn't they change
I'm not defeating.
One second, please. Didn't they change the penny or the 5 cents or something like that?
The Harriet Tubman $20 bills are still in the process of being made.
Yeah. So wait. Is that
OG, 1 second.
You let him say something, Fatty.
OG, just hold the L. Hold on, OG. What's this? Hold that, please. Hold all of that. No homo.
That look like something you and your boyfriend might be doing. I don't know what the hell.
You say no Diddy, but you all Diddy in this whole panel. Come on, stop.
It has nothing to do with this argument we have.
Samuel Jackson.
Let Fatty finish. So anybody from him just reading that definition, if anybody having a problem other than this 25%, the whiteness is fighting in his body. And anybody having a problem with this, by what he just read, you have lost your monkey ass mind. Because the definition itself says why we should get it. You have to put
repair. What are you talking about?
Mostly you.
Not an argument.
It is an argument. Mostly you, because you one of them ancient, them type of Negroes who's so happy to be on the other side until they get ready to load your ass on the train like Geronimo. But anyway,
what's a Geronimo? What the hell is that?
It's okay, brother.
We just making names up and stuff.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Won't you argue my facts and not try to make personal attacks?
You didn't bring up facts.
I did bring up facts. I had it. Wait a minute. Do you disagree? Do you disagree with the definition of reparation?
No, I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing: I ask a question.
Wait. Okay, can you tell? Okay, number 2 questions.
Tell me what needs to be repaired.
Why wouldn't it apply to us? Why wouldn't it apply to us then? If you agree with reparation, why wouldn't it apply to us?
People alive today didn't own slaves. Where is this money coming from? You've never answered this during the whole debate.
I asked you a question, sir. You don't answer a question with a question.
I mean, I can. But
okay, why do it not apply to us by the definition?
This is universal. This can apply to everybody.
I ain't asked about no damn universe. I asked you why do it not this did not go directly to reparation for black people for the trauma for 500 something years. Why do that definition not to apply to us? I
answered your question. You didn't like it. I said nobody alive owns slaves today. Why should they be paying people who never had anything to do with this? And you can talk about systemic, regulations and suffering and all this other stuff. Nobody alive today owns slaves. That's why. Does that answer your question? This is crazy. Nobody alive in America.
And that's the best answer you got with all that good. I told you, a waste of light skin. Waste of light skin.
You don't think nobody alive benefiting from slavery right now?
Crazy.
Martae.
This is because
Martae, one second, please. The CEO and Tez, you can go next, and Reese, please, and interrupt. I promise you, Reese. I promise you. There's a great question. CEO ask you this, Martae. Is there anybody alive that is benefiting from reparations right now? No, sorry, from slavery. I
From
apologize. Is there
slavery. Yeah.
anybody right now that's benefiting from slave? Like, for example, the slave owners that got reparations, the descendants of the people that had the plantations, all of these people. Like, is
Right.
there anybody together
Land grant, land grant,
from the atrocities of their ancestors?
Here's the problem that you're going to run into. The reason why this conversation gets muddy is because people alive never owned slaves, even if they adopted.
We get that. That you not just answer the question that he asked.
Can I respond to this?
No, it's fine. If he doesn't answer, ask again. Go ahead, Martha. It's fine.
I have an answer, but he doesn't. He wants to interject. So here's the thing. Though, I'll give you a hypothetical. A white person owns a house on land that was stolen from blacks.
Could you slide over so we don't have to look at one eye?
Can I give you a hypothetical?
Can I finish I just want him to slide over so we have a full picture.
I'm giving you an answer. I'm giving you an answer.
You could say that before he started talking, OG.
You're deflecting right now. You're deflecting.
You recenter your camera so we can see all your face, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm answering CEO's point. Let's say you have a house by slave owners that was handed down through generations, and the new people that own this house and live in this house, do you think that all these people who lived in this house should get up and just hand it to black people who had nothing to do with it? Because this house during 3 generations ago was a slave plantation house. Do you think that they should leave this house or this property that was slave?
That's a totally different, because you said
hold on, this is analogous.
The new people, you said the new people.
Where's this coming from?
Listen, if the people that live in that house right now was benefited from slavery, they still live in that house right now. Yes, they should give it up. Not if they done sold it to some new people and all that other stuff.
People that have nothing to do with this should just automatically leave, including grounds, meaning like property, houses, and everything else. They should just give it up. And how do you determine this? Because matter of fact, part of my family was owned by slave masters. Do you think that a quarter should we also? But you see how muddy this goes? Like how much property goes? Like that's why this will never be answered. Because when you're talking about this, all you're doing is just cutting people up by races. Well, you're only 3/4 of this. Should I give up 3/4 of a house? As a white person,
Martae, I have to be fair. He answered, but I have to be fair. He answered your hypothetical straight up.
Yes,
no meaning. No, he said. Let's assume this, Martae, right? He assumed, like he said, for example, if you own a house that was owned by plantation owners, and you are the grandson of the said plantation owner, hey, bro, hey, you just give it up that shit, you're good to go. Now, can you answer this question? Like, is there people today, like right now, that benefited tremendously about like their ancestors actually being slave owners and all that, like right now, 2025?
Tag me in, bro.
Well, the reason why that's muddy is because you're creating new victims that were never associated with something. Like just because I was handed down something through pain of something.
But that was not the question, Martae. That is the answer. Martae, 1 second.
No, my answer is no.
So the answer is no. Okay. The answer is no. The answer is no. One second, please, friends. The answer is a clear no. No over pursuing. Let's get Mr. Fantastic real quick, and then we open the panel. Reese and Mr. Podcast. Mr. Fantastic, go ahead. Nobody rebuttal to what you're going to say, okay?
Yeah, so you false there, Reese. That's what I said that's why I said tag me in. So no, there are definitely people that survive and there'll be ancestry of people that own slavery. The argument you should have went with though is that would include black people also. The first person to take owning slaves to court was a black man, right? To try and keep slaves with black men. Just as we know some white people would do reparations, being that they have black slave lineage, right? Somewhere down the line. So yes, even though, and then we get into the percentages. I think they said maybe it was less than 20% of white people actually own slaves or something like that. So for you to say that with that small of a percentage of lineage that's going to be responsible for giving up all of their assets and their money and their value, that would be impossible, because they wouldn't be able, if you did it that way. Now your reparation goes from the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that everybody wants to literally pennies on a dollar, because you only have a very, very small percentage of people. And who knows who's to assume that the person that's a descendant of slavery does live in a trailer park, right? Who I promise you, most of these slave owners or whatever aren't Fortune 500 company CEOs. So yes, the answer is yes, definitely there are white people that are descendants of slave owners, but there are also black people that are descendants of slave owners, because black people own slaves. That would include Native Americans also, right? So yeah, so that would be the answer to that.
So that right there on my screen is Anthony Johnson, who owned white slaves. I can go through the list of other people who also were slave owners. I mean, that's why I'm saying that the reason why I talk about fractionalization of race is because, hold on, Ted, I know you like to interrupt and be inappropriate during thing, but we have to use support here. So this is a professional debate.
It's fine. Just say what year it was and then continue, please.
Yeah, just
okay. So when you look at the year, it's 1654. So if you look at this is analogous towards the times when other people had slaves as well too. You can say that this is post hoc, but the problem with this is it gets muddied through the other argument because there was a lot of race mixing then. Since then, you have mixed race families and everybody. So whenever you divvy this out, that's when it gets muddied as to who gets appropriation, and that's the problem with this. It'll never get answered. That's why I think that whenever you start things from a net zero, I think it's fair to say that we should all start from zero. Nobody should get reparations, to be honest. If you want my real argument, nobody should get reparations. We all start from zero.
And Martae, I think there's you actually fucked up now, because maybe my interpretation of history is incorrect because I'm a foreigner, but those white slaves weren't in chattel slavery. Their kids wouldn't be born into slavery. Their other kids wouldn't be born into slavery. You know what the Barbary
slave trade was? That wasn't chattel slavery. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of white Christians that got sold.
Yeah, but let's not do the what about thing, right? Those white slaves.
That's not a whataboutism. That's history.
No, Martae, answer this question, please. And if you don't know, please Google it, because I might be wrong. Were those white slaves sons and daughters born into slavery, just like all the generations of black slaves that they had for the most part? Were they born into slavery?
Yes,
like if they were sons and daughters of slaves?
If you look into the Barbary slave trade, there were people that were born into slavery because these people had progenerates, like you're talking about cultures that birthed cultures into slavery. That's a section of history that did happen.
In the United States?
No, not in the United States.
We're talking about the United States. Let's focus on the United States.
Nobody elaborated. If we're talking about, here's the thing. We talked about other cultures.
One second, Martae. If you're
only convenient when you bring it up. When I bring it up, it's not convenient. We can Google this.
And you're going to show me a black American slave owner, right? Saying that he had white slaves. What I'm asking is that, was those white slaves, when they had kids, were they a property of that black slave owner, or they were born into like free like everybody else?
When they had kids, they were property of the slave owner. Yes.
I don't think you're right, Martae. I think every white slave had the opportunity to buy their freedom back. They had the other things that actually could get them out. I'm 90% sure that was the case. The white slaves could actually buy their way back into society.
Right, I agree with that.
Servitude is different from slavery.
That's my opinion. I might be wrong, but it is what it is.
Yes, but Fatty, but what's up there, everybody? Just real quick.
Come on, man. Hold on to it.
It's not right, bro. Right? It's a horrible. I'm sorry, Reese, but this is important. It's a horrible argument. You cannot say in one breath, and I think Fantastic was the one who did it. You cannot say, well, only 20% of white people actually own slaves, and then bring up the 1% or 2% of black people who own slaves as an argument to what? Against reparations? That makes no sense at all.
No sense.
Well, here's the reason why it makes sense is because whenever you bring up minorities and exceptions to the rule, that's what you're doing. You can't make exceptions to to but you can. That's crazy. That's counterintuitive and counterproductive to the argument. You're literally making my argument. Wait, hold on. When you say that only a fraction of this is fraction more than this, and you're saying 20% versus 5% or 4%, you're using minorities. This is just a semantics argument of minorities.
You all brought it up, not me. I didn't bring it up. I'm saying it's
no.
stupid
I'm
to
not
bring it
saying
up.
that
That's
you
literally
brought
what
this
I'm
up.
arguing.
I'm saying that this is a semantics argument. So it doesn't make sense to say that
It's
this
not
minority and this semantics makes more sense because it's not a great enough number on this side. It's still the point. So when we look at principles, we don't look at minorities and less is more. We say, is it a claim that happened? Yes, it happened. That's the only claim that Fantastic made. And the only claim that I did is saying it happened. That's
No,
it.
sir.
So
This
when
is
you're
the
talking about
same
semantics,
thing- this
you're
is the
pleading for
same thing that
minorities,
the
which is
white boy
another
did,
fallacy.
right? Hold on, man. Hold on. This is the same thing that the white boy did. You don't bring up something for nothing, right?
Nobody does. What are you talking about?
Bro,
That's
Wait,
the
let
thing.
him
is
talk.
he ever
Let him
gonna let
talk. Let him
anybody else
talk.
talk or no?
Go ahead, Beans.
Bro, you don't bring up points for nothing. You bring them up for a reason, right? So just like when the white boy brought up the fact that black people didn't take the opportunity to go back to Liberia, he brought it up for a reason. It was a suggestion. He was absolutely saying they should have. His whole
That's an assumptive claim. That's a fallacy.
I'm trying, Fatty. I swear. I promise. I'm trying not to be the old podcast. Come on, man. I'm just asking you nicely, bro.
That's crazy.
As soon as you say bitch ass nigga, I'll play a song and I'll pass it to Luis. No, you got it.
So he's creating a fallacy right now by making an assumptive
we are
claim.
going to a podcast.
So
are you
the
sure?
point is,
Go ahead.
no, what I'm just saying, like, because I don't want the narrative. All podcasts ruin the show. This dude won't stop talking.
We good.
So y'all should be saying something about
You
that
don't
right
move
now,
nothing.
too.
What are you talking about, bro? Get to the point.
Fuck up and let me finish, bro.
Get to the point.
So, right. So when he brought that up, it was absolutely a suggestion. He was saying that black people should have took the opportunity to go back to Liberia.
He never said should.
He used an example of his people. He said, my people, who were the Dutch people, right? And he said, we had a choice. And our choice was to either go into the Midwest, which was a bad choice, or go out west, which was a good choice. And we chose to go out west. So why would you bring that up if it wasn't for a suggestion?
Do you understand? Do you
Absolutely
understand?
brought it up
He
for a
said- he never
suggestion,
said
right?
should.
So
Do you
at the
understand
end
he
of the
never
day,
said
what I'm
should?
saying is when you're having a conversation about the reparations, and on one hand you're making the argument especially when you're talking about the money and where the money going to come from, and your argument is, well, it wasn't even that many. It was only 20% of white people who actually own slaves. What the hell is the purpose of bringing up the 1% of black people who own white slaves?
Principle.
It's no relevance to the argument, to the
So
conversation.
you bring up two fallacious claims that I point out. You bring up two fallacious claims. So
Well, he
for the
kinda
first claim, that's a fallacious claim and also inconsistent. You make it a prescription, which Evan never made a prescription claim. He never uttered should. He never offered a prescription. What he said was an is claim, not an ought claim. Do you understand this? Like your logic's literally stifling right now. So going on to this, when I use exceptions and we're having this semantic argument about subjects, I'm referring to
the real
principle.
Andrew Wilson, not this one.
All I'm talking about is principle. Yes, that's my boy. I'm part of the Crucible. Anyways,
I know. I can tell by the way you talking.
And by the way, podcast on a debate space is actually right because
he's not right.
No, let me ask you why. Because we are assuming things. And
yes, you're using it.
One second. I agree with you, right? People don't bring shit out of nothing. It kind of is subjective, but we are implying. So what Martae is doing is a technicality. He didn't say you should go there. Go there. He just informed there was this situation and this situation, and black people decide to go here while the Dutch decide to go there. So in technicality, debate technicality, Martae is right because we're implying what he said, not what he actually said. You see what I'm saying? So I agree with you. I agree with you, which is the implication. But
and Beans, I agree with you too on this.
But Fatty,
but he gave an example. There would have been a better choice.
Beans. I'm gonna give you all the
choice.
Nice. Beans, I agree with you completely. I agree that should be a should claim or an odd claim. I agree completely. But if we're being concise with what he was saying, Timu, Rick, and Morty was right in what he's saying. He's citing history. He wasn't giving a prescription at all. He never said should or any of this. Now, going back to the semantics argument, I was referring to principle. That's the reason why I'm saying that the waters get muddy on this. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but if you make an argument,
I want to real quick, Jason.
Go ahead.
Because I took it from Reese anyway. I apologize.
Okay, go ahead.
Fantastic. I think Reese was gonna let you respond.
Yeah, Reese, I'm cool, Reese.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So to your point, podcast. It was a point of not just black people didn't just own white slaves; they own black slave also.
Mhm.
So what he brought up was Anthony Johnson. There's clear history of daughters of the slave trade, right? That's specifically that to where mixed women or so on and so forth that were masters, children. She got slaves from him, and then there were also things as to where technically, now I'm just saying technically, people bought the freedom or bought their own people as slaves and had them on the plantation working, so that they wouldn't have to be under the white man. So that's why I'm saying it's a slippery slope. My response was strictly off of the premise of the people that have an ancestry of slave owners. That's my answer.
That's actually
but
That's the principle. Right? That's what I was talking about. The principle.
Yeah, and by the way, podcast, uninterrupted. Give it 2 minutes, and then I have to give it to Reese so we can open the panel for everybody to touch the ball. Okay, just go ahead, and everybody can have the conversation afterwards. So go ahead, podcast, and then Reese gets the ball.
So usually this is an argument that comes up when we're talking about the money. Fantastic, and that's what I'm saying. When I don't know any of the names. Pick any of those cases when somebody gets slain in the street and they somehow win a lawsuit or whatever against the city. Where does that money come from?
That comes from the government, the city was.
Okay, so here's the thing. What I'm saying is same rules apply here, right? You're not holding the people accountable. You're holding the government accountable, right, for what it instituted and what it facilitated. That's
what is the government made of? People, right?
Martae, 1 second, Martae, don't do it.
Go ahead.
It's going to do the.
So what I'm saying is fantastic when that. So again, right, that money specifically comes from the government, right? Now, here's the thing that was asked earlier. It was a great question. There's $14 trillion in the American economy today based on what slavery produced. 14 trillion, right? So it's still a lot of money circulating that can also be applied to that. Fantastic. I'm making the argument that if I just put redlining to the side, put, Jim Crow, KKK, the prison industrial complex, crack cocaine, all of that stuff to the side, and I just talk about the 2 million freedmen who were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule, right? That money today equates to about 300 billion. Do you think we should at least give that 300 billion out? It's
to
old.
To black people?
Not to black people, to the lineage of the 2 million freedmen who were supposed to get those 40 acres and a mule, which was rescinded by President Johnson.
No, Pockets, I say this all the time. I am not anti-reparations. If you can prove that your lineage is actually descendants of slaves and all these different things and so on and so forth, by all means, yes, get it, right? My thing is the problem in what it's going to take for people to find out, hey, you actually weren't a slave, but you were a slave owner. So now you don't get the money. Or
you're saying truthfully, or you saying they're going to lie about it?
No, I'm saying truthfully, this is going to, I promise you this, if the government cuts a check or makes any type of assessment of, hey, these people are owed money, you're going to have to prove that you're owed that money. They're not just going to give out blanket checks to everybody that's black. It's not going to happen. And that's what we get into.
Can that be? We're only talking about what we're talking about 100 and about 160 years.
Yeah,
Mr. Beans.
We're not really talking about a really, really long time.
Beans. My father was born in 1912. My grandmother was a sharecropper. And
they weren't slaves. They weren't slaves.
That's what I just said. Reese, we'll cover that in just a minute. This is brother.
The panel is now open.
The wait is over. The gates are open. All who seek the panel, enter now.
OG,
right.
I love you, but now 1 second. OG, I love you, but now. Let 1 second. You are going to actually have a chance to respond to Reese and to do your monologue. Let's Reese just go, and then you go, and everybody picks the microphone afterwards. Okay?
I got it, but I just want to say he correct.
You can wait. I don't give a fuck about what you gotta say.
Hey, Reese. I'm just saying you was right. I was just saying you was right.
I know I'm right.
Okay, put the weed down. They were enslaved. They were not slaves.
When I said it,
they was enslaved, not slaves.
No, they wasn't. Listen.
Go ahead, Reese.
I can't take anything serious when a man who smoke weed all day.
Whatever. You want to say something?
I said it. No, I can't take anything serious from a man who smoke weed all day.
It's fine. It's fine. Let's go, Reese.
I can't take nobody serious who don't smoke weed all day.
I understand. That's what a weed head would say.
Let's go.
That's what a weed head would say.
Uno reverse. Okay, we fix it now.
Yeah, a crackhead would say the same thing.
Let's go back to the conversation now that he's even. Okay,
I personally don't believe that the shit ever happened, but I'm not going to derail the show, and we're going to talk as if it did. So let's say this reparation shit goes down, right? And they agree to give it out. I want to know how this is going to go down, right? Number one, how you going to connect all of these niggas that's alive now to the ones that were chained and brought over here from Africa? Because the names have been changed, right? They didn't have no DNA tests right there, so I'd love to hear how that's going to happen, right? And no, people who use, I've heard several people up and down these panels say that their grandmothers were slave great-grand. No, the fuck they weren't. You a liar. Can nobody alive go back 7 grandmothers in history? No one. I'll take that challenge any day, and I'll put bread up. Because that's what you would have to do to end up with a relative that's a literal slave. A slave came over on a ship and changed to another human being and got his ass whooped. Nobody in your family.
No, nuts. Do you know when the slavery ended?
Yeah.
Do you know the year that the slaves? Do you know the year the slave ended?
So watch this. And if they did,
18 what? Stop talking and tell me the goddamn year.
1865.
Thank you. Go back. I just told you my father was born in 1912. You numb nuts.
That's one.
That's right. And my grandmother was a sharecropper, and her mother was a damn slave, enslaved.
You can't go back 7. No one alive can.
You don't have to go back 7. I just proved it to you.
One second. You are making the math wrong, Reese.
I just proved it to him.
No, that is not 400, Reese. It's like 100 and something years. And I know my genealogy 100 and something years. So I think
grandmothers will land you right to when slavery stopped.
I just told you my father was born in 1912. My grandmother was a sharecropper. Her mother was a slave. That's not 7 generations.
Oh, the fuck? What was her name?
202.
There's no birth certificate.
What if she says her name was Annabella? What's the difference?
You want to smell of drawers too?
Oh my goodness.
Wait, what?
God damn. I just told you the years.
Hey, Reese. Now, 1 second. Reese has a flashlight in his hand, so I believe him. Reese, continue what you have to say.
Black people today are living 10 times better than any slave owner that ever lived or slave. These niggas alive now were born with air conditioners, leather couches, cars, and everything else that they needed. And they want to be rewarded for people who didn't have shoes, got their ass whooped on a daily basis, was chained to someone else for 3 fucking months, shitting on themselves, hung, raped, right? But these motherfuckers with air conditioners and Cadillacs want millions of dollars for their suffering. But they died with nothing. There's no way to prove that they're even related to them. There's no way to prove that.
Sorry to interrupt you, Reese, but you can't get the microphone. But technically, and again, I'm talking about somebody that has no benefit on nothing. I don't give a fuck. The natives that have casinos and shit didn't suffer the atrocities that their ancestors did. Motherfuckers got casino at the bunch of booze. And there's nobody on the United States saying take that shit from them. Take that shit from them, man. Take the casinos because nobody suffered. No, if those motherfuckers can get it, so the people that look like me can get it too. And I don't know. One second, please. And I don't know how they figure out, but motherfucker, I will get inside of that government facility and do. Give me my motherfucking money. I don't care if I have to quack like a duck, sing like a duck. The reality, once again, is the precedent. If you are going to give reparations to Japanese people that were in the war, if we're going to get reparations to slave owners, if you're going to get reparations to all of these entities and people, and you found a way, you should definitely find a way at least to make sure that the people that can track their lineage to slave people that were enslaved, you should actually give him something back. Or why we stop the line at the Japanese? Why do people that don't look like you started the war with you, attack your people, can get reparations, but the people that literally build your nation can? The enemy can get reparations, but the people that actually were with you fighting on that war can? I don't get why.
There's no one alive that's going to come up here ever and come up with documentation that they had a relative that was a slave. I got relatives that lived on a plantation. The whole America was plantation.
Wait. Stop there.
United States.
No, you proved the point, Reese. If you can prove it, you just prove the point. If you can prove that your ancestors were in the plantation, are you sure that the hundreds of thousands of people can track and do the same?
You know what a plantation is? No. A plantation is a house with farming around it. Now, everyone lived that way 200 years ago. Everyone came from a plantation.
He's talking about the restaurant.
Legal slavery.
Are you a descendant?
Fatty, he's talking about the restaurant.
No, I know. It was a misunderstanding. It was a misunderstanding. Reese, are you a descendant of slaves?
What?
Are you a descendant of slaves?
A little bit. I'm a descendant of some horrible people, so I might be a little bit upset because I'm going to be excluded from this shit genetically and other ways too. So that might there might be some bias here. I'll confess to that. And you made a good point a minute ago. But my issue is this: they won't have no way to prove it. Now, niggas named Jefferson, Johnson, and Washington, and all that might have an argument. But what about motherfuckers like O.J. Speed? Last name Muhammad or X or some shit like that. What the fuck we connect him to? You know what I'm saying?
Genetics.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, I was about to say that genetics.
I got a question.
There's no leftover DNA from slaves to connect nobody to nobody. They didn't have no DNA test back then.
So here's my question though. My mother was black and my dad was half.
These niggas got
How much
grandparents
reparations should I get?
that were liars. None of these
Martins, we know it sooner when we see one.
Don't you watch Mario?
How much reparations should I get? My mom was black, my dad was half. How much reparations? You see what I'm saying?
This thing happened 150 years before Mario.
Reese, one second. There's a different argument. I don't like what y'all doing here, right? There's two arguments. Are you in favor of reparations, and who is going to get it? Who is going to get it has nothing to do with the principle that we're going to pay reparations to the people that deserve it. And y'all, the second one of the first one, y'all say, because we don't know how we're going to pay it, we don't want to do it. That's not the argument. The argument is, do these people deserve it? And if they deserve it, then you figure out, I don't care, the CIA, FBA, whatever the fuck the shit.
Fatty, I have a question. Can I ask a question? So, Fatty, this is directly to you. So, I was just thinking about this the whole time. So, if reparations were conceded, let's say that 50,000 were descendants, right? From slavery, from welfare, EBT, Medicaid, government housing, would you deduct any of this from that?
No, absolutely not, because there's not there's not race specific.
Yeah, it's not just black people.
Everybody got it.
Okay.
1 second, please. Actually, the biggest
BLM burned down cities. Would you deduct any of this from that because that's race related?
No, 1 second. This is another thing that you did wrong, Martae. Most people that were voting. 1 second, please.
Man,
Martae,
please, man. Oh my God. Bro, here we go with the burn down cities.
No,
you can't say that a majority were black and say it's not race related. That's crazy.
Martae is the last one. Did you know that most people that were on the streets and looting and all that shit?
White people. I know there's white people involved in that.
So it was white people. How is that my fault?
What does BLM mean? Daddy, what does BLM mean?
Black Lives Matter.
Philly riots.
Right. So the motivation movement behind this.
Fine. So let me see if I get this right. If KKK, like if KKK is doing a rally, and a bunch of black people come around and break everything and all that shit, and they fuck up everything, and it's clear that it's black people doing it the most, do we blame the KKK dudes that were just we are going to organize it? But
I would say black people, because even though we're talking about actions here, not motivation specific, like at least my logic's consistent here. If the opposite happened, I would be consistent with that too.
So,
Yeah.
can I ask the question, fam? I just been listening again, so I just.
Now everybody go spurg out because I just answered an honest question. Go ahead.
What do you think about this question? Reese, what do you think about this question?
Which question?
About
white people practicing free speech and white black turn up the city.
Reese is not even here.
I'm asking Reese.
Repeat it, because y'all all.
This is Sparta!
You kind of deserve that. Go ahead, Tez, and interrupt it.
Can I say one thing? Oh, go ahead, fam. Go ahead, fam.
Tez, go, and then we go.
So I just, if we could just go back to the very beginning, my first question, Martae, what is it that you're claiming that white people would be paid reparations for?
So in my original statement, which I'll say, and I'm still consistent, I would say the same thing that Reese and Mr. Fantastic say. I'm consistent across the board. I don't think reparations should be paid to anybody right now. As of 2025, you're asking for taxpayer dollars to come out of people that never owned a slave, never had association with slaves, or any of this stuff. Never happened. I point to one white person to own a slave. I'm consistent. So I don't think that these white people should leave their house because great-grandparents did something. That's crazy.
Right, so I'm consistent as well. What I didn't make.
No, you're not.
But hey, bitch, stop cutting me off. I did not make.
Ad homs don't really work for me, bro.
Be quiet. So what I didn't make was an argument based on slavery. I actually told you examples of people getting reparations checks cut today and told you why. And why it happened was going during Jim Crow that led to those checks being cut today. So if you hinge your entire argument on slavery, sure, you sound like you could be correct at some point. But you argued Minnesota and the George Floyd riots in regard to burning down cities. So I'm asking you again, is that your argument for white people being owed reparations? And if not, what was it?
No, my argument hinges on your who are you penalizing for this? Because you're asking for something from people that had no association to this. Now, you can say generations and lineages before that. Right, good. My grandma punches somebody, and we have this whole lineage of people that have wired their mouth shut. Now, hypothetical, the guy failed on this. So all you're doing is creating a new victim class of people that were never associated with this. So all we're doing is victim blaming and creating new victim classes. That's all your argument reduces down to. More victims, people that are penalized for things that had nothing to do with.
So just to be clear, do you know why they're getting paid reparations? When you say it didn't have nothing to do with them, do you know the reason why they're getting them in Evanston?
The reason why I'm saying this is my argument is that nobody should get paid reparations. We start from net zero.
Do you know why do you know why they're getting them in the first? Because they're getting them, no matter how you feel. So I'm asking you, do you know why?
We can talk about a minority. We can talk about that. Great. I'll even concede this, but that still doesn't fold my argument over to you. I can concede that one portion of the populace, which is less than 1%, by the way, is getting reparations. Where else is that happening? Yeah, we're talking about exceptions to the rule. I can actually still have an argument.
Checkmate.
Springs, California.
It's not a checkmate.
Yeah.
There's more.
No,
shut up. I can keep
not a checkmate.
Hey, friends, Tez has the compromised internet connection when he's talking.
I think you're rejecting that information. You have cities that are paying reparations. Bam, you have cities that are paying reparations outside of slavery. We're talking redlining now. So if they were paying for, let's say,
redlining doesn't exist now. You're crazy.
1919 to 1969.
I'm talking about now. You're bouncing all over the place.
No, it's the same payment. It's the same city. You dumb. We haven't left Evanston
back in the day. Yeah, I'm talking about now.
Yeah, but Martae, are people that suffer?
1969 ain't back in the day.
Yeah, are people
that were alive?
Okay, computer. Roger Feldman, zapping Roger over here.
Martae, he actually caught you, because your whole argument is these people are not alive. These people are like, they shouldn't pay for the descendants. These people that actually went through redlining, a lot of them are alive. They are my parents' age.
You know what?
Right?
That would be the. So I conceded that when I talked to Beanie Siegel over here. I was saying that he's talking about exceptions. Those exceptions, I can concede those, but it doesn't fold my whole argument or hand my whole argument over. I stand by my premise in saying that. So here's the thing, though. Fantastic pointed out excellent points by saying that when we talk about racist people blending and race mixing, it gets muddy. Now, my mom was black, my dad was half. How much of this should I get? You see the problem with semantics we get into? That's why I didn't want to get into semantics.
That's not a problem. Whichever percentage of black you are, if they was a descendant of slave, then you should get that portion. That's it. That's not a problem.
Right.
No, that's a big problem because it goes down to black. Everything else, like I pointed previously
about this CEO. It's an argument that I run into every time I have this debate.
You probably lose every time because it's the argument you use.
You
Come on, Martae, be respectful.
Money, it doesn't make a difference who it goes to. That's irrelevant. The relevance is how much money do you owe? Okay, not pay it. That's it. That's as far as you need to have that argument.
You run into another wall. Are you creating new victims from people who never owned slaves? Where are you getting this money from? Great. Big brain logic.
You just sent a whole bunch of money to Ukraine. You sent a whole bunch of money to the Jews.
That has nothing to do with race.
I don't see you crying about that shit.
That has nothing to do with race.
One second.
Let's say let's go elementary school. Apple's worth $3. Orange is worth $2. So if you could see a white person with white complexion got a whole nation and $300 billion for their complexion for 12 years, shouldn't you at least go, hey, if that's a human being, take the race about it. They value that human being to that capacity. Aren't black people entitled to that at least?
So you're being disingenuous too because of the generational gap and separation.
Can you respond to what
creating
I said
a new
before
victim
you?
class?
No.
How are you not creating a new victim class?
I didn't create. Listen to what you didn't get that from nothing that I said. I said if we're comparing apples to oranges, right? And we were elementary. We said apples worth $3, the orange worth $2. If a white complexion person that calls themselves a Jew, even though there's black people that call themselves the Jew, was entitled to a whole nation and $300 billion for 12 years of a Holocaust, isn't that what another complexion human being is entitled to for going through atrocities?
Yeah, cool. But here's the thing, though. Nobody alive owned a slave. Nobody could stop slavery or anything like that. I'm at least consistent in saying nobody should get this.
You keep using that. That's a white response, right? None of these people went
Can you prove that that's a white response from a black person?
Because you're not saying that all these people in Israel went through the Holocaust. You should say they didn't go through the Holocaust.
You're proving the other argument saying that blacks can't be racist, by the way. Go ahead.
Hey, man, white people aren't entitled. Jews aren't entitled to. Jews aren't entitled to. Hold on,
but you don't see.
You never hear white people. Oh, Jews aren't entitled to it because they didn't go through the Holocaust. Native Americans aren't entitled to it because those people didn't.
I'm saying that. You see people say this all the time. That's the biggest argument right now that's going on.
You're making it about yourself.
Let me. But there's the thing, Martae. What he's saying is that Israel is getting money right now.
I'm not for that. I'm against that.
No, but there's not. But he's not debating against you. He's not debating against you. He's saying is the American government is so willing to part ways with their money to support people on the Middle East that wasn't on gas camp, there was concentration.
Hold on. If I agree to this,
we're gonna make it elementary. No. We're gonna make it.
One second.
We're gonna make it elementary.
It's not because of. It's not
all this black on black crime happening right now. Go ahead. I need one of you guys to speak at once.
No, it's not that. It's because do you remember when Fantastic said, "It's not about what I believe. It's about the conversation and the debate." Do that with Ali too. It's not about what Ali believes. It's what about the American government did. It's not about what Martae believes.
No, it's about America. If you poll Americans right now and they say, should we be sending money to Ukraine? A lot of people would say, hell no.
You did it again. You deflected. No, you moved the goalpost. No. Hey, one second. Please stop. Hey, everybody stop. Martae, do you think the American government calls podcast Ilkan Ali, Martae, Reese from Philly, Ted's exclusive CEO? Hey, fellas, we're about to send $7 billion to Israel. What do you guys think? Yes or no? No, they just send it. They don't ask nobody. They just send it. So you doing that all because people don't agree is irrelevant because most people don't agree with how the money is spent. So let's talk about
hold on. All you're doing is appealing to preferences, which is preferences the whole time.
Stop doing the Andrew Wilson stuff.
Hold on.
Martae. Stop doing the
Andrew Wilson.
interrupted me the whole time.
No. This is
I didn't interrupt you, Ali, but you can do that to me.
Ali, let him clarify it, because I actually want to understand what is the reason.
Ali's not letting me clarify. Can I clarify that?
Wait, 1 second, Martae. Don't deflect. Don't move the goalposts. Just say what you need to say, and then Ali and Tez goes. What is the justification exactly for you to bring American people when we keep talking about the American government?
I'm consistent across the board. That's all I've been saying. But Ali, you can shake your head. I'm consistent.
No, you're not, brother.
Nobody interrupt him.
Can you tell me the flip flop in my argument?
So Ilkan Ali keeps talking about the government. The government unilaterally, he was not asking to the people. He was not a referendum.
I'm asking another question. Fatty.
Ali, don't move it. But
none of this justification. Do you understand this?
Martae, do you
even Beans argued to say that the law is
justification.
I agree with them.
Without beliefs or thoughts, do you believe two people that commit the same crime should get the same time?
Yeah. That doesn't throw my whole argument out.
Can I finish? Does it matter what anybody thinks? If that's the law, if that's enacted, everybody should get the same time for the same crime, right?
That's an odd claim.
And while we live in America, are people getting different times for the same crime? Is that a corruption?
Do you understand that that's subjective and that's not reality?
Can you respond to what I'm saying, please? Are people getting different times for the same crime?
No.
True. I mean, wait, hold on. No, people aren't getting the same time for the same crime.
Okay, is that corrupt?
No, I wouldn't say that's corrupt.
I know, that's fine. Now, let me ask you this though: if you believe that people should get the same time for the same crime, if a race of people are getting a certain amount of funding because of atrocities that happen to them, shouldn't another race of people get the same amount, at least equal or more?
That's an assertion. I can't even. That's actually unfalsifiable.
Why do you keep saying these kind of words?
That's it, because it's unfalsifiable.
You're arguing like hey, Fatty, what did you call them?
That's unfalsifiable.
Yeah,
that's
what do
crazy.
you call them, Fatty? You call them the something bros? What do you call them?
Arthur bros.
You're doing it. All you're doing is throwing out. You're actually doing what you're saying.
I'm sorry because I'm pointing out fallacies that you're making. My bad.
Let me just say, Ali, and this is your fault, Ali, because you actually got him. And then you go ahead and ask questions to people that are not going to answer the questions. Honestly, you got stop there. We are going to go back to the original point, Martae, and see if you can actually answer that, right? We're talking about the American government.
Oh, Beans can read minds now.
We're talking about the American government giving money to countries, to people, without no referendums, nothing. They decide unilaterally, and there's nothing you can do to stop the money from going to Ukraine, to go to Israel, to go to whatever, right? Why do you keep bringing American people when none of American people get consulted for nothing other than voting people? As soon as they are up there, there's no, like, why do you keep bringing them up to kind of say, but the American people don't agree with majorities, when the government is the one that is involved? We're not talking about.
Hold on. Do you think that a vote is an opinion of American people, since Ali wants to say that we don't have an opinion?
One second.
Hey, stop.
Ali is making a fallacy.
Martae, 1 second. You know why I know that we actually got better? Because that's a pivot for you to go on offense, right? A few years ago, we wouldn't understand why you're doing that. Now we understand you are pivoting so you can go back on offense and asking a question. Answer my question, and then you can go on offense and ask your question. Why you keep talking about people when we're talking about government?
What's the government made of?
What?
You did it again.
That's
people.
Crazy.
No, you did it again.
Wait, well, hold on. When we talk about the church is what? People. What makes a government? If you have no people around, is there a government?
Martae, you are.
What is a government? People.
Freddie, can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Crazy.
Do you think that he actually doesn't know what he's doing?
No. One second, please. This is called. No. 1 second. So this is what I learned, right? Because I got my ass.
Now you're not answering my question.
A podcast. You know what? A podcast. You know what's funny? Once I got my ass beat, like he beat my ass, the Rob Noor dude. I went ahead and kind of Googled why did I got beat in such a bad way? And I learned there's like some type of philosopher called sophists that don't debate to exchange ideas, they debate to win.
I'm not. You're accusing me of something I'm not doing.
And in my opinion, Martae, you were kind of a good
sophistry. No, I'm not.
No, Martae, you were being a good faith debater for
I
like
not
3 hours and 40 minutes, and all of a
question?
sudden you are not doing that anymore.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm being very consistent with my answer.
I think it's
be exposed by flip flopping and contradictions. It's very easy to suss out.
Hey, Martae, let me. Wait, please, just 1 second, Martae. Is the Orthodox Church the minority?
Of course.
Would most people be okay of a government or a state that is run by a minority of people in the Orthodox Church?
I mean, this happens in other subsects in society. So
But the people,
you did it again.
The people, you know, when people get in power, being the minority or the majority, they push their will. They don't go ask to the people what to do. The Germans will do that. The Muslims will do that. No, so that's the point. That defeats your point.
It doesn't. Do you know that the majority does the same thing? Right, this knife cuts both ways. Nice try, Patty.
Martae, that's not what we're saying. Is that let's imagine that you find a niche in Utah, in
Ali.
Milwaukee.
You just say stuff just because it sounds good to you.
I'm just saying. Let's assume that you find the niche in Utah, Milwaukee, whatever the city is, where the minority, the Orthodox bros, actually get enough power to be elected into government. Right? I'm not going to say. The people of Minnesota decided to send money and to build 70,000 churches. I'm going to say the small minority of Ortho bros that got elected decided to grab the money from the people and do a bunch of churches because that's what they wanted. They're not going to go to the people and ask, do you want the church? Do you want to? No, they're going to impose their will. So picturing that and actually put it on a macro statement is very disingenuous for you to saying that the government is composed of people when the minority of people actually are pushing shit that is not conducted to the majority.
This is exclusive to minorities, Fatty?
What, can you repeat that again?
Do you think this is mutually exclusive to minorities?
No, what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that people in power do what people in power do, regardless of being majorities or minorities. And you keep pushing that point when
this happens across the board. It's a big and minority. This happens all across the board. It's just human nature. What are you talking about, Fatty?
But Fatty, this is what I don't get. Okay, you know this is intentional, right? So then you go away from it, right? And then you focus on what is the truth, or you undermine what he's trying to do. He's never going to answer the question, because if he actually answers the questions more specifically,
because he's inconsistent.
Then it kills this argument. So he can't do it. This is Andrew Wilson 101. I'm never going to answer a question truthfully that I know will upend my argument, right? Instead of
because he's using broad terms right
to make a better argument, right?
He's using broad examples that apply to everybody.
That
you use the knife that cuts both ways. It's disingenuous.
If you're saying that, a certain amount of people,
you can go off team, Taz.
Come on, Taz.
If he says you can go off team.
There's a number of people from this other demographic that got a certain amount of money, right? And the question is, if there's another demographic of people who suffered similar or maybe even worse atrocities, don't they deserve the same amount of money?
Yes.
Assuming that the money has already been issued, everybody knows the fucking answer is yes. There's nothing hard about this, right? But if he says that, he's conceding to the argument that he believes people should get reparations. So
you're making an odd claim.
There's no reason.
You're making an odd claim, right?
Prove him wrong.
He's not going to do it.
Prove him wrong.
Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening?
What he's saying is exactly.
Ali, answer the question.
You interrupt.
Answer the question.
Ali will tell you, don't interrupt me, but then do the same thing.
You just asked
Yeah. Answer the question.
This will bring it
I
home
want
a
you
little
to
bit.
answer the question, but I also don't want you to answer the question.
This is crazy what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. Hey, checkmate.
Can I answer the question?
What you're doing? That's exactly what you're doing.
I'm just trying to answer the question. You want me to do it?
Give me just a second. Let us go, and then we go back to the.
When are you gonna let me not talk? Am I allowed to talk?
Yeah, no. One second, Martae. Let us go, and then you can reply to everybody that is actually trying to pin you.
Yeah, you gotta roll, yo.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
It's not playing out like that, right? But what he's saying is all these other people who already got their reparations, all of the other arguments that were already acknowledged, he's against them. as if that makes a difference. All of that was paid out. I'm against Ukraine. I'm against the natives. I'm against the Jews. Yeah, all of them already been paid. So it's easy to say I'm against it, but they've already gotten it. So you're the only ones that ain't got it. Everybody else that you saying you against, they've received it.
So when you say you're already starting a fallacy, you're saying received. No, they are continually receiving that now. You're saying that like it's past tense. So already right now you're being disingenuous by saying it's past tense. No, they're still receiving this. Do I believe that they should still be doing this? I could say, well, I can disagree with this and say no, because I think I could be consistent with this. So here's the thing though, is that Ilkan Ali will espouse and say, well, only this person gets this. And Beans will say, only this person's getting this. Well, here's the problem with this. There's fallacies across the board because what they're doing is saying, well, this is an odd claim, but is it happening? It's happening to a certain subsection community, happened in the past, but is this happening across the board? No, it's inconsistent. Reality is inconsistent right now. Ought it happen? Yes, I even agree that it should happen, but is it happening? No, it's not consistent. It's not happening equally across the board. So here's the thing, though. The waters are muddy already. So if you can't offer something that's a consistent, unmoving standard, I think it should be zeroed out across the board. That's just my opinion. At least I don't flip-flop like he's accusing me of sophistry. It's not sophistry because I'm consistent and fair and firm with my argument.
Cool. And I'm not even disagreeing with you that you're not being consistent. I think
no, I'm saying I'm being consistent with my argument.
I'm 3 seconds into talking. I'm saying I agree with you that you're being consistent. That doesn't make it. Hold on.
Are you making a claim? Oh no, B. I didn't know. B. I didn't know if you was making a claim or just responding to what he just said. Are you going?
I'm saying I agree that you're being consistent. Consistency is not a prerequisite for intelligence. Just because you're being consistent don't mean what you're saying out of your mouth makes sense. Right? It doesn't matter at all. I can just say a whole bunch of numbers that add shit together that ain't true and just keep getting it wrong, and that don't make it right, or correct rather, because I don't want to be right. I prefer to be correct.
You know, two things can be true, right? You know, I can agree with you. Can I answer the question, please? I can explain this. I can flesh this out. Two things can be true. I can say that they can't come up with a number right now because the metric hasn't been presented or the solution. But I can also agree with you to say that once they come up with the number and if the metric is presented and that's consistent, I can agree to that. See how that works?
Wait.
Yes,
A metric for what though? A metric for what though?
So what he presented was remember how he said if they can come up with this with a dollar amount, that's consistent. So if you can consistently across the board come up with a metric for, you would say, well, I'm a quarter black or full black, whatever that is, right? If we can come up with this and the waters aren't muddy, I would actually agree with that. That would be fair, firm, and consistent. But the problem that I'm running into is that because I don't see this, that's why I'm using a can't. I'm not making an absolute saying that it's never going to happen. I'm saying right now I don't see this.
But and I think you never will. Well, let me say this real quick, Ali. I think you never will. I think you've created an eternal, infinite argument when you say muddy the water.
No.
Because you can use
Ali actually saw that.
You can use anything to describe that, right? So I'll give you an example. The same thing I did on a panel full of white people to prove that they were bigoted crackers. I said, how about this metric? How about don't worry about none of that other stuff? Redlining, KKK, Tulsa, Oklahoma, none of that other stuff. Just the money that is absolutely old. The 40 acres and a mule, that money, that's old. And they still try, no, because this, no, because that. And you did the same thing earlier. No, because, well, how you going to track it? And no, because, well, you don't know. You're going to muddy the waters no matter what.
No, that's because semantics are important.
An infinite way.
Fatty just debunked your whole argument.
Fatty money away.
Fatty just debunked your whole argument. When he labeled specifics and talked about semantics, you're saying to throw the semantics out. Now you're basically opposing Fatty's argument of saying this many kids and this many this. You're basically saying, nah, you know, when white people bring up this many, throw it out. It's like you're a contradiction factory with Fatty. That's crazy.
Hey, Martae, what you're doing is being...
Fatty saying specifics matter. What would you do if it's incongruent? Now you're saying throw it out. That's crazy.
We got
That's
the number,
crazy,
Andrew.
Martae.
It's 300 billion. Okay. What I'm saying, 300 billion. Now, we all know 300 billion is a lot of money, right? Watch this, Fatty. Can I borrow 300 billion? No, right? So we know it's a lot of money, but from what we talking about is actually not a lot of money, right? And it's actually only about maybe 2% of the $14 trillion in the economy today based on what was produced through slavery, right? So it's only 2% of that number, right? So I'm asking you straight up and down, 300 billion. They've already given out money to everybody else. We know that you think that they shouldn't, but they are. They are giving out money to everybody else. Should that 300 billion be given to the people who are entitled to it?
So there's a caveat. I'm going to say yes, but there's a caveat.
Great.
I have a black mother, but then my dad is half.
Right.
Do you think that I should get the same as a full black who never had race mixing in their whole past?
Okay, so I have to answer the question this way. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a debt that's old.
What I'm talking about. That's the answer to your question.
But it isn't. But wait, but
no,
it isn't. That's
what
what
he's
I'm
using
saying.
is he's saying, no, I don't want semantics. I only like semantics when it's
he's asking about black.
Let me explain, Andrew. What I'm saying is this. There's a number. It's allotted. Here's the thing. What I'm talking about is about $150,000 per person of the 2 million family, right?
Here's my problem.
Just let me finish, please, sir. What I'm talking about is about $150,000 per person, per two of the 2 million freedmen who were supposed to get their 40 acres and a mule. That comes to about 300 million. So you're talking about 150K for the individual. Ain't no whether you light skin, dark skin, 10%, 9%, none of that don't matter. All I'm saying is your great granddad was owed 150K. We're gonna give it to the oldest living member in your family. Y'all decide how y'all gonna split that 150K up. Who cares? But now the debt is paid. And here's the thing, Martae. Do you realize if the debt is paid, nobody could ever bring it up again? And if they do, you would be able to say it's a fallacy. We already paid the debt.
That's not a fallacy. Here's the thing. You're creating a fallacy. An artificial fallacy, and I'll tell you how. So here's the thing, though. So the person that's 15% black, it doesn't matter as long as their grandfather. And I just want a genuine answer from you, Beanie Siegel. If I have like a sliver of 5% black in me because somewhere down the line I had a great grandfather that was a slave during the time, it doesn't. What you're saying is it doesn't matter. Even if I have 5% black slave owned in me in blood, I should get the 150,000, right? That's what you're saying. It doesn't matter, right?
The way you asked it, you said, so I'm saying. So no, sir, I'm not saying that. Because what you're doing again now, Andrew, that you think I can't peep, is you're pivoting. You keep pivoting to slavery. You keep pivoting to slavery.
I'm talking about an outcome of your scenario.
And you think over talking me is going to somehow make me sound less intelligent than you, but it's not. Everybody knows I'm cooking you. You can keep pivoting to slavery in a general sense if you want to. I'm not talking about slavery. I'm talking about the debt that is owed. That's it.
So here's the thing. The debt that you're talking about is owed. You can get specifics and have an exact number. How come you can't have an exact number when it comes to outcome? Oh, there, you don't even have an answer for this. This is crazy.
What?
I'm 5% black with slave, and we talk about my grandfather. It doesn't matter in the end. You don't have no answer for this, but you have an exact when it comes from the origin, but not from the example and outcome. That's crazy. You don't even have a logical entailment that ties together.
Bruh. I'm serious.
How do you derive an answer from this?
Stop watching him. This shit is going really bad for you. I promise you. Stop.
You keep making
There's no answer for this. I'm waiting for an answer for this.
You're using an emotional fallacy based off the premise.
No,
of the
this is stats. Take the emotion out of it. These are statistics.
Paradoxes that was created in 1942. Like these fallacies are not.
It's not an emotion. You know what an emotional argument is?
I just made up words and you responded to it. Like I really didn't even say nothing. And you responded to it.
Yeah, you're making up words. Right. I'm allowed to respond to made up rhetoric.
Okay, you're breaking. Your internet is breaking.
It's crazy.
Podcast, your internet is breaking. It's freezing. Yeah, now
Martae, this is crazy.
Oh, shit, my bad.
I think it's good now. Let's get podcast and Ali, and I have a question.
He's making it.
I have my last question.
I just say this real quick. I'll say this real quick so my internet, if it messed up again, I'll be quiet. But Martae, what I'm saying is this. Look what I'm doing. I'm minimizing it. All of the stuff that people talk about when they talk about reparations, they talk about KKK, they talk about Jim Crow, they talk about the Civil Rights Movement, they talk about the devocationalizing, taking jobs and stuff out of the community, taking the programs out of the school. They talk about the crack. They talk about I'm taking prison industry. I'm taking all that off the table, and all I'm talking about is what's old, and you can't even focus on that. You keep going back to slavery in the general sense and making it about color and race because you think that somehow is an argument, but it's not. You look crazy. For real.
So, okay, asserting that I look crazy doesn't demonstrate that I look crazy. Can you actually answer my question?
Because you won't stick to what I'm talking about, which is simply the money owed. Don't make a comment about nothing else about the money owed.
Yeah, you're not answering.
Let's see if you could do it. Let's see if you could do it. The money owed, $150,000 per person.
If everybody got paid, if everybody got paid,
nothing to do with color, nothing to do with the
can't even respond to this. He'll bring up $150,000 and say it has nothing to do with dollars. Right now, you're saying
color. It has nothing to do with
talk about money, but you can't.
Black blood. Nothing.
Can you answer my question, Beans? I asked you.
You know what? One second.
No.
You know what? Hey, one second. You know what? Let's do it. Podcast. Answer his question, so he answers yours. Like, just let's be.
Can you answer my question?
Listen,
no, that's not an answer to my question.
Answer your question.
Repeat it again, Martae.
Pose his question.
So here's my question. You have an origin, but not an outcome. This makes sense because you can map this onto anything else with society. If I start off with a debt for paying a car and then everybody else has a debt at $5,000, but then somebody has a used car and somebody has a brand new car, do you think the difference should be different, right? And if you have a car that's made up of 50% Honda parts and 50% Mercedes part, are you going to pay Mercedes prices for this if it gets whittled down in half of its Mercedes? Do you think everybody should get Mercedes prices across the board, no matter what this is? Because we're quick to say $150,000 across the board and have exact metrics, but when it comes to the outcome of dispersal of this, you say it doesn't matter?
What kind of car is it?